Today I was forgetting things. I was seeing if I left the fire on. Chapter 5 from A Castle in the Past. I will continue until the final of this book. The Druids. If so, do you remember that before all chapter start, have a text from gospel, more or less relative, more or less with a matter of the chapter. If the soul immaterial, it must, after this life, pass to a world that is equally invisible and immaterial, the soul. Just as the body decomposing, it turns to matter. It's very important, however, to duly distinguish the pure soul, truly material, which feeds like God on knowledge and thoughts, from the soul more or less tainted with material impurities, which prevent it from rising to the divine and keep it in the places of its stay on earth. The Gospel, according to Spiritism, into the introduction, summary of the doctrine, and Socrates and Plato, Eton age. This affirmation about soul, pure soul, and soul that feeds impurities from earth, is from Socrates and Plato. Socrates and Spiritism are considered precursor of Spiritism, a man that prepare people to receive Jesus Christ. There was always during harvest time a festival held by the entire community of the state, which mobilized of the not state is wrong, this word, the entire community of the fiefdom, which mobilized everyone to prepare the environment of the expressions of gratitude for the harvest obtained, as well as for the treats made from part of the harvested food, which, unlike the Julian calendar adopted in 46 BC by Julius Caesar, was created according to the lunar movements, with the flowering of certain types of trees, the influence of the sun, and the different climate seasons, resulting in a lunar year of 13 months in which they celebrated various festivities, not 12, but 13, as they were reincarnated spirits from a far more advanced civilization. They possessed knowledge of nature that gave them an accurate perception of the different lunar cycles and their magnetic influence on minerals, plants, and animals. However, is still immersed in coarse matter. They granted divinity to the sun and the moon due to their understanding of the colossal energy generated by these celestial bodies. But when they had full awareness of the existence of a single creator of God, as they could assume their true knowledge free from the confusion of the body, material body, and matter. Their year began on November 1st, the day of celebration and interaction with the occult. Oh my God. I forget. Don't put the finger this side. Oh my God. Here. But when they had full awareness of the distinct existence of a single creator and God, as they could assume their true knowledge free from the confusions of matter and material body. Their year began on November 1st, the day of celebration and interaction with the occult world. See one thing. See this. Where they reunited with family members or reunited with family members who had long since passed away. Discarnates. Around dusk on New Year Eve, October 31, they would begin rituals that would result in the faint materialization of their ancestors, to whom they offered their best thoughts and devotion to living a righteous life in order to remain worthy of continuing to receive their honorable visit. Only the initiates and the family members of the Druids could participate in this ritual, which accounted for almost the entire population of the site, including the Lord of the castle and his wife, who kept it sacred from the clerics residing in their fief. The presence of such religious figures in the fiefs was enforced by the English crown, which had an alliance with the representatives of Christianity at the time. The elders and the residents of the fief could not understand a religion that forbade a reunion with relatives, I don't know, forbade or forbade, reunion with relatives who had already passed into another plane of existence. How could they accept a religion that forgot them, as if they had never lived among them? On the night before November 1st, in a great flash of light, in the center of the forest, near a lake that Druids consider sacred. Everyone gathered for the beginning of the festivities that would continue the following day. Pay attention. A flash of life in the center of the forest near a lake. However, the clerics were only aware of the New Year celebrations and not of the reunion with the ancestors. For this reason, the Druids created a cloud curtain around the area so that anyone without permission would mistake the place for being shrouded in mist. Shrouded in mist. At the beginning, they formed a circle of the main master who would catalyze enough energy for the materializations. Circle of the main masters who would catalyze enough energy for the materializations, where everyone stood in deep concentration, connected to the sun god and the earth goddess, to fulfill their desire to receive news or visits from their loved ones. This energy for the materializations was a cloud, and this appeared ectoplasm, necessary to materialization in this planet. The moment was one of deep silence. Then appeared a magnetic field formed by a faint cloud at the center of the circle. It is ectoplasm, I think. Little by little, the silhouettes of relatives were formed, recognized by their characteristics from their last incarnations. One of the masters, in a trance, delivered the messages that followed, with the relatives being identified by those present as they called out the names of the living and gave them good advice related to their behavior and fears, with personalized messages, which only those listening knew the details of. Many of the deceased relatives already possessed a high degree of elevation and were tasked with guiding the family members. However, these guidances were heard and utilized by everyone. There was, however, a family in which only the children were incarnated among them, including little Irina, Ingrid's little friend. Years earlier, they had lost their mother, Irina, and a few months later, their father had taken his own life due to the immense loss he had suffered. A suicide he committed. At the time, many had warned him about the need to fulfill the time of life on earth, as one is not given the right to abruptly cut short the years left to live. However, it was in vain. And the tragic event deeply shocked the rest of the family and community, who always in such occasions awaited news about the two members dearly loved by everyone there. Irina's older siblings were already working in sword making in an agriculture, thus able to support the remaining family members. Little Irina, whom everyone in the community helped because she was the youngest, and Jeremiah, 3 years older than Irina. The Druid priests knew that they would not have news of the father who had taken his own life anytime soon. As for the mother, they knew she was working in the spiritual plane to help rescue her poor husband from the deep zones, but especially on that day Brianna appeared, bathed in a sapphire blue light and very happy. Brianna was the mother of Irina. The mother Irina loses. Brianna appeared, bathed in a sapphire blue light and very happy, was able to reunity with her, or reunity with their children who had suffered so much from the loss of their parents. My dears, said Brianna, I am at peace, but sad for having lost my beloved in such an infamous way. I work hard in this plane of life where I am out of body, of course, studying and helping those who perished like him due to a lack of faith and trust in the force that governs the entire universe. My coming to this world, which is the real one, rest assured, was necessary for my material body no longer aligned with the functions necessary for my stay. And if I had finished on remaining on earth, I would have deeply mentally harmed, which would not have helped at all, as I would not have been able to assist you in your tasks, homemade, and would still be a burden to be carried by everyone. My heart accompanies and guides you because I know you honor the teachings we lived when on earth, affectionate hugs from the one who always remembers you with love and longing. That said, Brianna bids farewell with a customary greeting, joining her hands in front of her forehead, raising them and sending vibrations to everyone, then fading away gently. Brianna had contracted a common disease of the time due to poor local sanitary Brianna had contracted a common disease of the time due to poor local sanitary conditions. Tapeworm infection. After this manifestation, the contacts of that night were concluded, and the priests considered that long-awaited manifestation over. It was annual for most, but done every 2 months by the priests, who gathered advice for the community and for themselves. In this bi-monthly manifestation, some chapel leaders would descend to earth would descend to Capella, tasked with guiding them to fulfill their mission and exile. And in the future, in these bi-monthly manifestations, some Capel leaders would descend to Earth, tasked with guiding them to fulfill their mission in exile and in the future by integrated into the spiritual community from which they originated. However, the Druids received them as gods and goddesses, gods and goddesses, due to the profound knowledge and guiding power they imparted. The Druids were aware of their responsibility to evolve the community in which they were involved, as well as to expand their knowledge and disseminate it through meditations and attitudes that ratified that they believed it. They acted indirectly on Earth in the development of new practical ideas such as inventions and thoughts that propelled general progress more rapidly in this planet. Probably without their presence on Earth, the planet would still be entering the industrial age today. More or less 500 years ago. They functioned as accelerators that acted in all areas of knowledge, but without leaving a trace. They believed that anything writing down would lose its power and be kept, and that when it came to matters related to the moral evolution, they should promote through the dissemination of knowledge about the existence of life after death. Regarding knowledge of control over life, the mineral, vegetable, and animal planes, it was only passed on those who demonstrated the capacity for initiation through astrophysical manifestations presented by individuals in the communities where they lived, as was the case in Eleba. Eleba, I read in 2 chapters ago. Who don't heard first, second, 30, 40, and 5. 5 is today. Until 40 chapter. 14 chapter. No, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 chapters ago. Please come in this to understand what happened. They were aware that passing this knowledge on the lay people would only bring much confusion, and in some cases, even that if the lay person used it without the full capacity to penetrate the molecular essence of any of these kingdoms. Mineral, vegetable, animals. Three kingdoms. For this reason, they left nothing writing. Only voice and acts day by day and cycle by cycle, century by century. I think this was lucid and great, deep portion, I think. Then this is the finish of chapter 5, and I hope you like it. Those informations that for me turn my mind so clear when I think about the past in this planet. Why have no link with this body with cavern body? How his jump 4,000 years before Christ have a jump in intelligence, in civilizations, how Hebrews and Egypt people is a great whole to make a link with government. I think scientists see this. I have the dust that a spirit with more evolution. I read a bit in Genesis. There are explanations, some explanations, how elevated the spirit but stopped in moral knowledge came to this planet to evolve in moral knowledge, and with all intellectuality and cells of his spiritual body accelerate the modification and met bodies to incarnate here. And this make these people amplified the civilization with his body. It's a race out of this planet that made this here. Kardec more or less say this. Then don't have out of this, I consider that don't have so much explanations about it. Don't have logic, insults, and a whole to men of cavern men, and Hebrews, and Egypt civilization. I don't know if this pronounce is correct. Sorry me. Then is this what I think. I hope you like it. When you read this, I hope you like it and understand some clear things about development of this body in this planet and discoveries that they stimulating in past, discoveries and dots. And I hope you have a great start of week. I said that I would put this in Saturday, but I don't would make this. Then I put today. Generally, I will read this book and read Genesis in Tuesday and Friday. Generally, it's my idea, it's my intention. In Thursday, not Tuesday, tomorrow, in Thursday and Friday, okay? Until the next, thank you to see this. Who is, I think you are not American. I think you are Brazilian, but I post this in Portuguese, okay? If you don't understand, wait one day that I post in Portuguese before this live. Until the next.